What's going on, everyone? So the Phoenix Suns are absolutely abysmal. I don't see them necessarily turning around enough to be a contender, but it does appear like the Phoenix Suns are likely going to have a fire sale this upcoming offseason. They're going to tear it down. So Matt Ishbia came out because there was a lot of rumors, a lot of talk recently that the Phoenix Suns were going to maybe look to trade Devin Booker in the offseason. Even last offseason, there were talks about Devin Booker maybe open to the possibility and potential of being traded. But Matt Ishbia came out and was like, absolutely not. We're not trading Devin Booker, right? Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, anybody else that we can trade, we'll trade, but not Devin Booker, right? He's the guy that they want to keep. I think he's the only option that would yield the return necessary to potentially build a contender, right? I just don't think that they will trade him. And I mean, you could argue they shouldn't. I know a lot of Suns fans, anytime I even mention the idea of potentially trading, Devin Booker, they're all like, absolutely not. Like, I would rather be terrible and keep Devin Booker than contend, which I don't get. Doesn't make sense. Like, if you told me tomorrow that you could trade Devin Booker and win a championship, would you not do that? Some Phoenix Suns fans, I literally get comments like that regularly. But nonetheless, right? Kevin Durant, I just don't think is going to yield the return necessary to kind of reshape and rebuild this roster to a contention status. Do you kind of retool against Devin Booker and try to see what you can do in a year or two? But at that point, like, how long is Devin Booker going to stick around before he's like, all right, get me out of here, right? Like, how long is he going to stick around before he's like, all right, enough's enough, right? But the Phoenix Suns may have just gotten a lifeline because Bradley Beal says that he's open to being traded in the offseason when there's more options and possible teams that he could go to, right? Bradley Beal was not open to being traded. Neither was Kevin Durant, to be fair, because they didn't want to be traded midseason. And then also, Bradley Beal just didn't like his options, right? I don't know what team is going to trade for Bradley Beal, if I'm being honest. The Washington Wizards supposedly were interested in bringing him back, and their sales pitch was like, hey, you could be the franchise leading scorer, but like, does he really care about that? Does he really want to repeat that and be on a bad team again? Probably not. Right? Like, I still think Bradley Beal is good. I still think on the right team in the right situation, he could really help a team. Right? The dude is an absolute bucket getter. The guy is still, I think, a 23-5-5 guy in the right situation on the right team. The problem is, like, what is that team? Most teams already have that guy, so you already need that guy. Or like, Bradley Beal made a ton of sense for the Heat when they had Jimmy Butler, because it was like they really need that proven go-to bucket getter, and it was like Bradley Beal, Jimmy Butler, and Bam Adebayo made a ton of sense as like a big three. But now you don't have Jimmy Butler. Tyler Hero's kind of emerged to be that guy for them. I just don't think he makes sense the way that he did before. So I just don't know what team is going to be like, yeah, Bradley Beal's the guy. Let's bring in Bradley Beal. His contract's insane. He's on a no-trade clause. If you trade for him, you're probably stuck with him unless you just get a bunch of assets with it. But Phoenix doesn't have that. Right? So I still don't see Bradley Beal being traded. And that's the problem is Kevin Durant isn't going to yield the return, and Kevin Durant isn't the problem. It's Bradley Beal and Devin Booker. They're the same player. They play the same position. Neither is big enough to play the three properly, and neither is skilled enough as a playmaker to play the point. They're the redundancy. And unless you break up that redundancy, you're not going to solve the issue. Which is why it made no sense why they went and got back. That's why as soon as they traded for Bradley Beal, I was like, they just ruined any chance that they had to win a championship. People told me I was crazy. I don't know what I'm talking about. Now look, right? Like, one of us was right. Like, Phoenix, it made no sense. Trading for Yusef Nurkic, right? Made no sense. You didn't need a skilled big man around the rim. You needed a 3-and-D guard that can initiate the offense and get the ball to Devin Booker and Kevin Durant while playing defense and being your point of attack, right? Like, Drew Holiday would have been perfect. Like, if they would have went and got Nick Richards, Drew Holiday, and then like an OG Anunoby, right? Instead, and used all their assets and used all their players, stuff like that, instead of like Bradley Beal they would be probably the best team in the league. Because you'd have that 3-and-D versatile defensive piece, or if they could have gotten like a Dorian Finney-Smith or something like that. That versatile 3-and-D defensive piece, right? That doesn't take away from Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. Have that point of attack initiation, can still go get you buckets, but can knock down the 3-ball and be that point of attack defense. And then that lob threat, rebounding, shot blocking center. That's all they needed. Round out the bench the best as possible with some depth. Right, Grayson Allen was fine. You get a couple other pieces. Maybe still go look to bring in Tyus Jones. Royce O'Neal was a great pickup. Right, and you start rounding out that bench. Mason Plumlee, I thought was a great idea. Right, and now all of a sudden you're probably the best team in the league, if not one of the best teams in the league, and you're contending for a championship. But no, Matt Ishbia had to get another, worse Devin Booker. Right, you had to get another bucket getter. When you had your bucket getters, it made no sense. You didn't need it. It's just like, why? And then it was just like you turned a young center into Yusef Nurkic that didn't make any sense. And now you had to give up. It's wild to me, the decision making that the Phoenix Suns have made. And now they're going to go trade Kevin Durant. It's not going to fix anything. It's not going to solve anything because you still have Bradley Beal and Devin Booker. Maybe they find somebody to take Bradley Beal, but you're probably not getting anything of value in return, for one. And then two, you're probably going to have to give up assets to do that. And there's not like a bunch of teams that have enough salary to just absorb his contract. So it's just like, what's the plan? How are you going to turn this ship around? How are you going to right this ship enough to where it's going to make sense? I don't see it. I don't. I just think Phoenix is just kind of spinning their wheels until they decide to tear it down, or Devin Booker just goes, all right, it's time for me to go. Now, again, because how long is Devin Booker going to just sit around and wait? How long is Devin Booker going to be willing to just have this incompetent team figure it out and just keep making poor decisions after poor decision after poor decision? It's just it does feel like they've kind of figured it. Okay, you went and got Nick Richards, traded for Royce O'Neal, right? It's okay, Tyus Jones made some sense. I think they're starting to figure out the kind of pieces that they need, but I just don't know if they're going to be able to get those pieces. And Bradley Beal, as long as Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker are on this roster together, you're not gonna be a good team. Who are they gonna get in the offseason that's gonna make sense? Who are they gonna get for Kevin Durant that's okay, now that's it. That's the thing. Because again, I still believe you have the redundancy, which is Bradley Beal and Devin Booker. But those are my thoughts and opinions. And as always, pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. I feel what your thoughts. Do you think that they're gonna have a full-fledged fire sale? They're gonna tear it down, trade Bradley Beal. They're gonna trade Kevin Durant. Who do you think takes Bradley Beal? If you think a team would even take Bradley Beal, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are. Either way, I would love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.